Hello and welcome to Relatively Crafty, a knitting podcast. I am your host, Christy. I come to you from the Denver area of Colorado, where I live with my husband, Ron, our two daughters, Tatum and Delaney, and our tuxedo kitty, Lilu. And welcome. If you're looking for me, you can find me on Ravelry as Cristi-Lael and on Instagram as Cristi-Lael without the dash. I'm also on Goodreads as Cristi-Lael without the dash if you're looking for me. And I have the spellings for that down below, or at least I will have soon. I normally do the show notes for each podcast episode the next day when I get a chance to kind of go over the episode and see exactly what I talked about. Because while I'm editing and I'm not really paying attention to much more other than just taking out the ums and awkward silences and the 85 million times that I trip over 3 words. So anyway, the spellings will be down below probably tomorrow, or Thursday. We also have a Relatively Crafty podcast group on Ravelry where we have knit-alongs and giveaways and chatter and all that kind of fun stuff. We just wrapped up our wonderful winter warm-up KAL, which went from the first day of winter until the last day of winter, which was March 19th. And that KAL was just about knitting anything out of worsted weight or above, or finishing up a blanket out of any weight. And I have done the drawings for the prize winners, but before I announce them, I had a question on whether or not I was going to have a spring KAL. And I'm a little bit late since spring started, yesterday? And I figure I should have a spring KAL, considering the fact that I did the summer solstice and then I did the autumn accoutrements, and now the wonderful winter warm-up. So I should have a spring KAL, and it should have alliteration. And so I was trying to think of what starts with an S for spring that isn't socks. And I know that scarves or shawls but I don't know. My thought was the spring stuffies, because you don't really wear, scarves or shawls during the spring. It's when the weather starts to warm up. Although we did have snow the last day of winter, so. But anyway, I'm thinking, you know what, I think I'm going to go with that. Let's do spring stuffies, and I'm going to go ahead and start that. Hopefully today. We'll see. It's been a kind of a crazy week, and I'll get into that later. But yeah, I'm thinking spring stuffies. And you can knit any kind of stuffed toy or crochet. Of course, crochet is always included, and in fact, crochet probably will be the lion's share of the entries, since there are so many gorgeous crocheted amigurumis and those kinds of things. So yeah, just any kind of critter that is filled with fiberfill or whatever you want to stuff yours with. Stuff it with beans for all I care. Just stuff it. So I will start that, and it will go from now until the end of spring. And unfortunately, I don't have the date on me right now, but I'm sure that I can put it down here, the dates, and I will retroactively activate it to the first day of spring, which was yesterday. So yeah, any kind of stuffy. I don't care what size, I don't care what kind of yarn you use, I don't care whether you knit it or crochet it, just make a toy. I think that I am going to do some of No Knit Sherlock's, at least one of No Knit Sherlock's patterns. She makes some really cute ones. I can't remember her name right now, but I'll put that down here too. It's kind of been a busy day. It's kind of been a busy week. It's just been busy. But anyway, like I said, I'll get into that later. Let's go ahead and talk about the prizes for the wonderful winter warm-up KAL. So I had 2 prize packages, if you recall. The first one was this bag from Smoky Mountain Laurel, gorgeous bag, and this gorgeous skein of Creative Obsession in her Campfire colorway, along with some other tchotchkes, a Sock It To Me bag, or Sock It To Me card, and, you know, other things. The second prize is this bag, which is from You So and So, and a needle minder from, or not a needle minder, a chart minder from Knit Picks, and a Sock It To Me card, and a couple of other little tchotchkes. So I went ahead and drew this for the chatter thread. So in the chatter thread, we had 197 different posts, and the RNG picked post number 191, so right there at the end, and that was Knits and Purrs, and I believe that she is in California, so go ahead and send me a message on Ravelry with your name and address, and I will get this out to you ASAP. And then for the FO thread, we had 247 total posts, but I think some of the posts got deleted, so I don't think there was quite that many FOs, but regardless, I ran the random number generator on I think it's randomnumbergenerator.org, and it picked post number 17, which was Maudlin Mauve Maud, which is Danielle, who actually lives here. She's local to me. So Danielle, go ahead and send me your address if you want me to ship it, or, you know, let me know if you want to meet at the knit shop or something like that. And, you know, if you want to come to knit night or something, let me know and I will get this to you. So there you go. Those are the winners, and thank you so much, everyone, for being a part of that knit along. I managed to knit nothing for it. Well, that's not entirely true. I'm sure that I did knit some things that were out of worsted weight or above, but I had planned on finishing that blasted blanket, and I ended up farming it out to have somebody else finish it, because I'm just not a module blanket person. I just need to accept that. And I will go ahead and open up the thread, as I said, for the spring stuffy KAL, and yeah, and we'll have prizes for that as well. If you want to donate a prize, please feel free to do so. I always accept donations, and if I don't get enough donations, then I'll purchase something to give to you guys. So yeah, anyway, let's go ahead. I think that is all the administrative things that I had to deal with, so let's go ahead and get into my knitting. I have one FO, and it's a small one. I did not get a lot of knitting done this week. But my daughter is happy of this for this small FO, so I guess that's worth something. I knit her a KitKat hat. This is the KitKat hat by Andre Sue, and Andre Sue Knits, I believe, is her proper name on Ravelry. And I think I had put this pattern in my queue because I saw Amber, the yarn hoarder, knit it for her daughter. She also knit a matching hat for their cat. And I am sorely tempted to knit one for Lilu, but I just don't think she'd appreciate it. I really want to knit my cat a hat. Anyway, so I picked up a skein of Knit Picks Felici Worsted in the Hopscotch colorway a couple of weeks ago. I showed it to you guys. I told you I was going to knit a hat for Delaney, and that is what I did. I knit her little KitKat hat, and she loves it, and she has been sad because I finished it a couple of days ago, and she hasn't been able to wear it. And as I said, it snowed just the other day. She's like, "Mom, my hat would be perfect right now." I said, "You can't wear it. I haven't podcast about it yet." So anyway, there it is. I had hoped that I was going to be able to knit 2 out of it, because I think the pattern said that it only took 75 yards, but I used more than 75 yards. I started it on a size 5 needle, and then did the body of the hat on an 8, I believe. Just using my ChowGoo interchangeable, and then I just kind of pinned, tacked down the ears right there, and they're not exactly perfect, and I don't feel bad about it. It looks cute on Fred. And Fred's my head, by the way, if you're new. And yeah, it was pretty easy. It went really fast. And Tatum saw it, and she goes, "Mom, is that a kitty cat hat?" And I said, "Yes." And she said, "I want a kitty cat hat." And I said, "But you say that it's itchy." "Well, not if it's a kitty cat hat." So I was hoping, really hoping, that I could make more out of the leftovers. But as I said, oh, where is it? I don't have enough of the leftover. Yeah. So, I don't know. I might be able to get one out if I used a different yarn for the ribbing, like a solid. I thought about that, but it would need to be a super soft solid. You know, Felici is known for its softness, and so this one doesn't itch, Tatum, but yeah, I would need to find a solid that was just as soft as this, and I haven't quite figured out what that would be yet. I don't think that I have anything in stash, because, you know, I made her that sweater, that flax sweater that I made her last year out of Madeline Tosh, and that's a pretty soft wool, and she said that that one was itchy. So anyway, I told her I'd do it eventually. I'll come across something. I wish that they did the Felici worsted in solid colors, because then I could just get a color that matched, but they don't. So, and in fact, they don't even have this on their website anymore. I guess I must have gotten very lucky to get a skein when I did. But now that I know that she wants a kitty cat hat, I will be able to make her one eventually. These are super easy, by the way. If you are new to knitting, I would highly recommend this pattern. There is no decreasing. I think the one that I made for myself was Kitchenered at the top, which I think I prefer. I don't remember what pattern I did for mine. It's on my project page. This one, it's a free pattern, so I don't mind telling you. This one is a 3-needle bind off that you do on the inside. So you don't see the bind off, which is good, but it does kind of cause the top to kind of fold in on itself like that, and I wouldn't have had that if I Kitchenered. So I kind of feel like I should have Kitchenered, and I will, should I make this pattern again for Tatum. So there you go. I can't believe I talked that long about a simple hat, but there you go. And that really is the only finished object I have this week. I showed you, let's see, last week I showed you that I'd finished my aunt's sock. I still haven't cast on the second sock. This is going to have to wait, actually, because March is almost over, and I have a whole other pair of socks that I need to start and finish before the end of March. And that is my hippo for Mardi Gras 2018 for Lolo Did It, which I will be using a Sweetness Little Lolo for heels, toes, and cuffs. Or no, just heels and toes. So I got to get those started right away, and so my aunt's socks are going to be on hold until that's done, but I'll probably work on them right at the beginning of April. And then the other sock that I showed you a finished sock of last week was my March Box of Socks, which I'm knitting for the Box of Socks KAL. And I had this sock completely finished and had started the toe of the second sock, but I have not finished that second sock. I know, I don't think in a year and a half that I have gone a week without finishing at least a single sock, but I am here on the second sock. So you can see I still have a bit more to go. Not too bad. One more color repeat, and then the ribbing, and then the heel, of course. So I am hoping to get this finished soon. I got to get it finished soon. I'm knitting only on this until this sock is done. I got to get it finished. Hopefully, maybe even tonight. It's possible. possible. If not tonight, then definitely by tomorrow. And then the weekend, I'll get a lot done over the weekend. So, a little overwhelmed. I did make some progress on my sweater, though. A decent amount of progress, so I'm proud of that. So that is one of the reasons why my socks haven't grown too much. But I kind of feel bad that I haven't got more to show you guys this week. I mean, gosh, I've been showing you the same sweater and the same socks for like 3 weeks now. It's really time to move on to something else. But that's just the way it's gone. Anyway, I am knitting the Snowflake sweater by Tin Can Knits, which I've showed you for several weeks now. The sweater has a lacy snowflake pattern for this kind. It's not really the yoke; it's just like a panel for the top, and then the rest of the sweater is in stockinette, and the pattern calls for you to use a different color for the lace bit, so I have done that. I'm using all of the Verdant Griffin in her Traveler DK base, and my lace yarn is Dirty Deeds done with sheep. It's just a beautiful tonal purple. And then for the stockinette, I am using Madagascan Sunset Moth, which I have alternated like crazy because I didn't want any kind of flashing or pooling. And I think I've done pretty well. So I have, let's see, last week I made it to here. And this week, and this past week, I managed to almost finish the body. So the body calls for a seed stitch hem, and I decided to do a split hem. So I've done the front of the split hem, and I am working on the back of the split hem. I've got maybe 8 to 12 more rows to go, and then I'll be done with the back of the split hem. So, so here is the front. Just show it to you so you can see the whole thing. And then you can see there's the seed stitch split hem. And you might notice that I have put in a strip of the Dirty Deeds done with sheep right there before the hem starts. And I did that because I saw it on somebody's project, and I liked the way it looked. And so I thought, well, maybe I'll do that. And I am getting kind of a little bit concerned that I'm going to run out of the Madagascan Sunset Moth, and I still have a whole full skein of Dirty Deeds done with sheep, plus whatever I had left over, which was maybe 30 or 40 grams from the first skein. So I figured it can't hurt to put in an extra strip, an extra bit of that. So I have, took them off the needles, hang on. The cord of the needle that I'm using to do the seed stitch split hem is a little bit on the short side. So yeah, so I think I did 3 rows and then went into the seed stitch hem. So this is the back. Yeah, I think I did 11 2-row repeats of the seed stitch on the front. So I've got a little bit more to go. I think I've got like 4. 1, 2, 3, yeah, 4. So yeah, and then I will do the sleeves, of course. And as I said, I think I'm going to run out of yarn. I think I have 60 grams left of the skein that I did the front with, because when I got to the split hem, I stopped alternating. So I alternated all the way down the body, and then when I got to here, I took one skein and did the front split hem and then cut that yarn, and then I've taken the second skein to do the back split hem, and I will cut that yarn. And so I have 60 or so grams left of the first skein from the front. Let's not get confusing. And I don't think that's enough to do a whole sleeve. So, so I'll just do them. I'll just do them as long as I can, and then that whatever it is, that's what it is. The fact of the matter is that I spend a lot of my time pulling my sleeves up to here. So that's a 3/4 length sleeve. So I might as well just have the sleeve 3/4 length and then be done with it. And I have a little bit of the purple left. This is what I have left of the purple in the first skein. So I can use this to do those 3 stripes again, or maybe even do some of the seed stitch band on the end of the sleeve in the purple if I so choose. I haven't decided yet. But I am making progress. Every week I make a little bit more. I've almost got the body done. I know the sleeves will go a lot faster. I'm so excited to wear it, and I need to really get it done soon because we are getting warm weather. Tomorrow it's going to be 77, which is too warm for a wool sweater. So even 3/4 length sleeve. But anyway, I just absolutely love it. I love how this Madagascan Sunset Moth is knitting up so much. Just so happy with it. It has all the colors. All the colors are in there. You know, there's purple, there's green, there's red, there's pink, there's yellow, there's orange, there's blue. Just like everything's in there. It's just all in there, just all mixed in. It's perfect. So yeah, and because I am excited, and because that's my last whip, and because I need something else to talk about, but because I am excited to finish my sunset, or my snowflake sweater rather, I have gone ahead and wound up the yarn and picked out the pattern for my next sweater, which is going to be the Blue Sands cardigan, which looks like this. And this is another thing that I've had the yarn for forever, and I've just been kind of putting it off. So it's nice to use up this older stash. This is one of my oldest sweater quantities of stash that I have currently, now that I've used up the Verdant Griffin. This is all Woolmiza in their DK base, and I got it shortly after they started carrying their DK base, so that tells you kind of how long it's been, 3 or 4 years. So I have 3 skeins in red. It's such a bright red. It's such a happy, sorry it's getting blown out. It's such a happy, just red. It's just red, 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 red. And like I said, I have 3 skeins. There's another skein up there. And then for my 2 contrasting colors, I'm using this green, which is Frühling, I believe. I didn't tell you what the red is. They're all in German, so I'm not going to spell them. I'm not going to say them very well. Rotkapchen. Come on. There you go. So there's the red, Rotkapchen. The green, as I said, is Frühling, which is probably one of my favorite. Grasshopper is probably my favorite green, and actually I have a sweater's quantity of that in their sock yarn that I will be knitting up sometime. Sometime hopefully this year. And then the last color is this gorgeous orange, because you know it's a Cristi sweater, it's got to have some orange in it. And that is in that, oh, God, it's late. Sorry, it's late in the day. That's in that colorway name. Is that? I hope that's focusing for you guys. So, so yeah. My red is my main. Whoop. And then, and then the orange, and then the green. I think it's going to make a gorgeous Blue Sands cardigan. And yeah, this is a pattern that everybody knit when it first came out, and I wanted one. And I have the right amount of yarn in these colors, and I think it's going to be a perfect use of this great Volmisa yarn. I'm so glad to finally be using it. So yeah, that will be the next sweater that I cast on as soon as I am finished with Snowflake. And then, of course, I told you about the next socks that I'm going to knit, and those are my only knitting plans right now. Because life is a little bit chaotic, I don't want to get too ahead of myself, but I do have to knit 2 pairs of socks in April, a pair of Knitterly Things Vesper sock for my box of socks, and then the next hippo for the holidays colorway, which will be hippo for Easter, the hippo for Easter that I showed you guys last week. So yeah, that is my plans for the future. And yeah, so I guess we'll go ahead and get into yarn haul. I have a decent yarn haul, but it all came from like 2.5 places. And one of them was a prize win, so I don't have to feel so bad about that one. I didn't pay for that one. In fact, I'll do that one first. You guys were so awesome to alert me to the fact that I had won something on Lolo Did It podcast, which was super awesome. And it was one of her hippo for the holidays. Each month I think each month she drew a prize. And then she also drew 3-month prizes, and then she drew a year-long prize. And so I hadn't won anything up until this week, and so it was really nice to finally hear my name being called, and I won for the Hippo for Hanukkah knit-along part, and so I knit my Hippo for Hanukkah socks last December and loved them, and so I won, and I contacted her, and she said that I could pick any skein that was ready to ship in the shop, and I was thrilled at that because there had been this skein that I had kind of had my eyes on. It had been sitting behind her in a couple of the podcasts, and I'm like, oh, what is that pretty thing? Found out it was the Quibbler. So I got a skein of the Quibbler, which is a Harry Potter reference. And, it's kind of got this taupey base with blue and orange speckles, and there's a little bit of pink in there, and I've seen it knit up, and it's gorgeous, and I'm just so excited to have one. I just absolutely love it. So yeah, I got a skein of the Quibbler, and then there was some other goodies in there. There was a packet of silver light bulb shaped progress keepers. There was a little, sorry for the light, there was a little sampler of a Lolo bar, Lolo Love bar in Little Pumpkin. Why? In Little Pumpkin. It smells really good. It's like, it smells spicy, pumpkin spicy. And then also, I've already put it to good use, a Lolo Did It measuring tape. Retractable. Oh, they bite you, be careful. Metal part just slaps you. So yeah, I was super thrilled about that. It was such a great win, and she sent it so quickly. We've been chatting a lot lately, and so it's really cool to be chatting with her via email. She seems like a really neat person in real life, and it's too bad that she lives all the way down in Las Vegas, because that's someplace I just don't really have any interest in going. Next, I ordered from Rock and String Creations. I ordered these were dyed to order, so I had to wait for them to be dyed. So I got them weeks and weeks and weeks ago. Maybe back in January, maybe February. And I had a coupon code, which got me a decent amount off, and at that point must have been February, because it was after I did my taxes, and I was going a little hog wild with my ordering. And I got 3 skeins. I absolutely love all of them. The first one is Appalachian Autumn. These are all self-striping. So it's just like this autumny rainbow. And I just absolutely love it. All those colors, just so gorgeous. And then the other two are bright and happy. One is Good Vibrations, all the neons. And if that's not neon enough for you, the second one is called Radioactive Rainbow. Yeah, look at that, guys. Is that not just so bright? Look at these together. Like, people will just, I mean, I won't even have to announce myself. I'll just glow when I'm walking down the street. So I'm really keen on those. I really like her dyeing. I need to frequent her shop a little bit more often and actually knit with it. There's lots of indie dyers that I have purchased but have yet to knit with. I need to knit faster. I need to knit faster. The last thing that I have to haul is all from the same shop, and that is from Giddy Yarns, which is dyed by Helen. She's in the UK, and she is an up-and-coming indie dyer, and I've just been really impressed with the colorways that she's coming up with. And yeah, I've just been really enjoying being able to purchase from her shop when I can. And yeah, she does the little sock sets with the 50-gram main skein and the 20-gram mini skein, which I like a lot. And so I got one of those. This is in the Salvage colorway. Salvage is going to be kind of a changing colorway depending on the time she puts it up. This is her over-dyeing a skein that didn't work out properly and salvaging it. And so I think this was her Peppa Roadkill colorway that didn't work out right, and so she over-dyed this main skein. And it turned out really beautiful, and so I was really keen to get one. It's got purples and blues in it, and then a nice red heel-toe cuff skein. And then the other 3 skeins I got were part of a series that she did, and I love this dye technique. And I just, like, every time I see it, I want all of it. So she did it's called the Haze, I think it's called the Haze series. It started with a Valentine's Day colorway, and that was Love in a Haze, which is mostly gray. And then here at the tip, she's got purple and pink and red. And it'll cause, like, bloops of color, like dashes almost. And I just really love that. So Love in a Haze, and then she did Easter Haze, which again is gray with pink and purple and blue, and then some turquoise or teal in there. So those are 2 so far. And then the last one is called Spring Haze. I love this one too. Also gray, and then, you know, kind of a blue-green green going into grass green into this kind of chartreusey green. So yeah, these are all the haze colorways that she did, and I absolutely love them. They're just so gorgeous. So can't wait to knit those. I need to knit faster. And that's it, guys. That is all the yarny stuff that I have to show you. So I guess we can go ahead and get into books. I managed to finish A Darker Shade of Magic by V.E. Schwab. I'm listening to these on audio, and this one was really good. She does remind me, I think I said this last week, of Neil Gaiman a little bit. She kind of writes like him. She builds great worlds, and this is no different. This follows Kel, who is an Antari. He's one of the very few people who can go between the 4 different Londons, or the 3 different Londons that are passable at this point. And they kind of are in a line. So at the very at one far end of the line is Grey London, which is our London. And then next is Red London, which is the one that KAL comes from. And then there is White London. Well, so I should say, Grey London has no magic whatsoever. Red London has embraced magic and has a more healthy relationship with it. Whereas White London, which is next, is a little bit bloodthirsty and you can be very easily murdered for your magic abilities. And then at the very end is Black London, and Black London is closed off because the magic almost became a disease, and so they closed all the doors, and whereas it used to be that people went back and forth freely through the doors to the different Londons, they closed them all, and Black London is completely closed off. And so the only people who can go through the doors now are the Antari, and KAL is one of them. And it was a really interesting magical fantasy book, and I really, really enjoyed it. And so when I finished the first one, Darker Shade of Magic, I started the second one right away, and that is A Gathering of Shadows. And I'm about 100 pages in. I still have a lot to go, and then A Conjuring of Light is the third book that's right here, and it's huge, so it's going to take me a while. So yeah, but I'm really enjoying this. One complaint that I have is that the gentleman who narrated this book is not narrating these books, or this book rather, and that kind of bums me out. I hate when they change narrators. I understand that there's, it's necessary sometimes. With A Gathering of Shadows, there are two narrators, a male and a female, so, I see how they need to add a female narrator, but the male narrator is still not the same one that was in the first book, so that's kind of a bummer. You kind of get used to how certain characters sound, and when the narrator changes, then the characters sound different, and it kind of breaks the continuity of the story, especially when you read them one right after another. But, it's a minor complaint. I don't know who's narrated the third book. We'll find out. And then I also finished A Wrinkle in Time by Madeleine L'Engle. This is a book that I've read many, many times, and I reread it this time because both my children were reading it or have read it recently, and yeah, I loved it. It's such a good book. I mean, it's a great children's book, and it's got great fantasy, and it teaches a good lesson, and I remember just loving it when I was reading it, when I was Meg's age and reading it, and kind of just feeling like I had, I was worthy of things, because, Meg is kind of a hot mess, and she thinks she is just like the black sheep of her family, and I kind of felt like that too. And so to see her be the one who has to save the world, and who has to, fight and whatnot, and use her negative, what she sees as her negative qualities to do that. I love that. I just love that. So yeah, I am considering rereading the entire series. I think I've read the first 3 books several times. I don't even know. I may have read the other 2 books once, or maybe. I don't remember reading them. When I was growing up, the Wrinkle in Time series was a trilogy, and then Madeleine L'Engle wrote the other 2 books later on, and so I kind of have a hard time seeing it as a quintet instead of a trilogy. But right now, I am instead reading Surprise Me by Sophie Kinsella, and this is her brand new book. Sophie Kinsella writes chick lit, beach lit, very light comedy, romance type stuff, and I really enjoy it. So I've read some of the Shopaholic books, like the first 2 or 3, but I like her standalones better. And so in 2016, I believe, she came out with My So-Called, or My Not So Perfect Life, and then this one just came out a couple of weeks ago, Surprise Me, and so I am going to start this tonight. So yeah. Okay, and that's all the reading. So let me go ahead and get into a little bit of life stuff. I've mentioned a couple of times that life has been a little crazy right now, and it has. Part of the reason is that I work for a CPA firm, and it's tax season. So I was only working 3 days a week. I am now working 4 days a week. And you might not think that that extra day is really making a big difference, but it is, because that day that I used to have off is Wednesday, which is when I podcast. So I had to go to work today and then come home and podcast. And so it's later in the day, and I'm tired, and the light's bad, and yeah, it's just been a long day. The other reason that things have been a little hectic is because I've been studying hard for my second CLEP exam, which I will be taking next Friday. And it is the American Literature one, which I feel a little bit more confident about because I am such a big reader. And because I read The Catcher in the Rye and I read The Great Gatsby as my studying. And so I've, been able to consume some of those books that will be on the test. But I still have to take the test, and it's still kind of nerve-wracking. So I will take that next Friday, and I've been working on that, and I can't really knit while I'm studying, so that's kind of limited me. And then the third reason is because I've been trying to get this job that I told you guys about last week. So I had my phone interview on Friday for this great accounting firm that I really, really want to work for. And the phone interview went really well, I think. And I think I had mentioned to you guys last week that I was going to have the phone interview, and I did on Friday, and it went like I said, it went well. Well enough for them to contact me by email later that day asking me to come in for an in-person interview, which I do tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. So, kind of feeling a little bit anxious about tomorrow. I went out and bought a special interview outfit because a lot of my clothes are casual, stay-at-home mom clothes. Lots of jeans, no slacks, lots of Chucks and Doc Marten boots, but no dress shoes really. So I had to go and buy an outfit, and I'm going to be ironing that just as soon as I log off here. And I've been kind of practicing my interviewing skills. I've been kind of reading What Color Is Your Parachute, kind of get some tips and tricks. It's been a long time since I've had a proper interview, and I've got kind of a lot riding on it. I mean, I'm sure that, this is the first job, real job that I've tried to get since finishing school, but it's a really good one. It's a company that I really think will be a good fit. It's only 15 minutes away from our house. My hours would work out well for the kids in their school. It's a family-friendly type of work environment. They really want you to find a balance for your home and work life, which I like a lot. And I just really think they do a lot of promoting from within, which is good because I don't really want to be bouncing around too much, but I'd like to grow in my career, and so this gives me an opportunity to climb a bit of the corporate ladder within the company without having to company jump. And so it's just sounds really good, and I'm really excited about it. And the work that they want is stuff that I already know how to do, stuff I already know I could do. So tomorrow morning, 9 a.m., kind of think about me, if you would. Say a little prayer, because I'm really nervous. So that's going on. I've been doing a lot of getting things together for this interview this week. Filling out information for the company online, and application type stuff, and references and whatnot, and just been busy with that, talking with friends and colleagues about getting advice and just that kind of thing. It's just been a little bit crazy. So, so just think about me. I will probably post if I hear back. Before I podcast next week, I'll post on Instagram or something. I don't know, but yeah. So yeah, there you go. That's what's going on with me. All right. Okay, so I think that is it. I've rambled long enough. I still have to do a lot before I'm ready for my interview tomorrow, so I need to log off. I'm going to try my darndest to get this edited as soon as possible and up. This is not my fidget spinner. This is my children's fidget spinner. Just letting you know. I just saw it there. Anyway, have a wonderful day, guys. I will talk to you guys later. Happy knitting. Bye.